Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Mystical. Today, I am bringing you an 11.2 video going over every single build that you need for PvP and PvE. I'm going to try to go through every single one, try to show you the stats as well as where your healing come from. And that's pretty much it. I just want to give everyone a talent build. They're all linked in the description. So if you just want to grab one of these builds and import it, just take them. They're all in the description. And with that said, right into the video. Starting off with PvP hybrid. So this is a build that heavily relies on doing damage to heal. You're going to get value from your ancient teachings, which converts your damage into healing and you're going to do that with your rushing wind kick and your crackle damage, which is very strong. A lot of damage on the monk side of the tree. You're really just going for damage challenge with fast feet and ferocity of Zhuen, getting your CC with Song of Chi-Ji, or playing Ring of Peace, and then getting your primary defensives, which is Fort Brew and Diffuse Magic. You can get some extra mobility in here too. I also do recommend that you do play Master of Harmony for hybrid. I don't know why they swapped, but Master of Harmony is definitely the go-to hero talent for hybrid Mistweaver in PvP. And then as far as the Mistweaver side of the tree, just going for damage and healing, essentially. Just getting your Chi-Jis, but the most important thing is getting your rushing wind kick so you can do damage, and then also getting Shaden's Gift, because that instant heal is so powerful in PvP that it means you have to cast less. The only thing that I would mention is there is one flex talent here, which is either your Crackle damage or Mana Tea, or Energizing Brew for extra mana from Mana Tea. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're running out of mana, you can just swap out the Crackle talent for Energizing Brew. But for the most part, you're the aggressor when you're playing hybrid in PvP. So I would just recommend staying with Jade Empowerment and then trying to land kills a little bit sooner. Next is Mythic Plus, and you're going to be primarily Fistweaving in Mythic Plus. It's actually not terrible. It's a good amount of fun. And on the left-hand tree, you're just doing pretty much the same as you do with everything else. You're getting your damage from your fast feet and ferocity of Zhuen, which gives you bonus damage, and you're going to go for Vivacious Vivification. This feels really good when you're Fistweaving, especially in PvE. It's so nice. I wish it felt good with Crackle Mistweaver, but it doesn't. But this rework does help Fistweaver quite a bit. So going to go with Vivacious, and then getting your primary defensives, which is Fort Brew and Diffuse Magic. You do get some physical damage reduction with Dance of the Wind, which is really nice. And then I actually really like Fatal Touch. So whenever you touch a death, you increase your damage by 5% for 30 seconds, which is super nice. And that's pretty much it on the left-hand tree. Damage, defensive cooldowns. On the right-hand side, you are going to be playing mostly Jadefire Teachings. I never changed my Mythic Plus talents ever. So Jadefire Teachings converts more of your damage into healing, which is really nice. You're just going to be Fistweaving, playing Jadefire Stomp to activate your Jadefire Teachings, just because you want that extra damage converted to healing. And I do see some differences a lot. I mean, my main difference in my Mythic Plus build is I play Jade Bond, and I love this cooldown. If you don't and you want to play more of a shorter cooldown Chi-Ji, play Gift of Celestials, perfectly fine. But I really, really like Jade Bond. The one flex talent here is the Peer into Peace. So what Peer into Peace does is this allows me to keep swapping my Soothing Mist from party member to party member without having to break my Soothing Mist by just using Vivify, which is fine. I kind of like it. It feels a little bit more smooth, but you can drop this and you can kind of put this in, Focus Thunder or into Secret Infusion. I think those are the only two options I would suggest probably if you wanted to drop this. I personally really like Peer into Peace. I know you're not gonna be casting much when you Fistweave, but I still kind of liked it just in case when I had to. So that's just kind of what I like. But again, you could put it into Focus Thunder for an extra Thunder Focus Tea charge, or into Secret Infusion for extra stats when you use a spell with your Empowered Thunder Focus Tea. Next is PvP, and it's the Crackle build. So this is the build where you're going to be playing 40 yards away, essentially. I use this build whenever I am playing to a comp where I definitely need mana, or I am dealing with spread damage from Asa Rogues, Demon Hunters, anything like that that just has super strong cleave. I'll play this build. The reason why you play this build for mana is because Crackle actually costs no mana. So your primary healing comes from Jade Empowerment, which makes it so whenever you Thunder Focus Tea, it increases the damage of your Crackle and Jade Lightning, which is amazing. And then you're also playing Jadefire Teachings, which converts more of the damage you do to healing, 215% more, which is absolutely wild. So every Thunder Focus Tea, you have an empowered Crackle. You're going to Crackle an enemy, and you're going to use that to heal your teammates, which is incredible. So that's when I use this build. Left hand tree, same as everything else. Go for damage, go for your normal defensives. The only thing I would maybe swap potentially is if you're playing Song of Chi-Ji, I would drop Jade of the Wind and go with Song of Chi-Ji. There really isn't too much flexibility. You could also drop Healing Winds if you wanted to. Just make sure, no matter what, as long as you're playing Song of Chi-Ji, make sure you're playing Peace and Prosperity for the reduced cast time. Very important. And like I mentioned on the right-hand tree, or in the right hand side on the Mistweaver tree, going for Yulon, which is another powerful cooldown. Pair that with Jade Bond, which gives you Chi Cocoons whenever you Yulon to give you extra healing. It also lasts 25 seconds, which is so good for the mana reduction on Enveloping Mist. And there really aren't any flexible talents here. You could maybe drop Focused Thunder if you needed more from Energizing Brew. But even with this build, you really should very rarely run out of mana, because again, most of your healing is coming from Crackle that costs no mana, and then playing Master of Harmony for 2 charges of Thunder Focus Tea. The next is RBGs and Blitz, and this is a little weird because honestly, I just change it depending on what I'm playing. If I'm playing a map where I need a team fight, I'm going to play Crackle build 100% of the time. Same thing as the previous section, I'm just going to play Crackle. However, if I'm on a node map like Arathi Basin or Deepwind Gorge, I actually do change the hybrid straight up. I do change the hybrid because it's more of a 2v2 and a 3v3 than a team fight, and I always feel like damage is more important than healing in those times, especially since hybrid can only do the amount of healing that Crackle can do, plus you can do extra damage. So that's a situation where I tend to just play hybrid or Crackle. I don't really have a separate build for RBGs. This build is quite literally the Crackle build copied over. That's literally it. So if you want to play RBGs or Blitz, I would just take the Crackle build and use it as your primary RBG build. I would say the only talent that maybe that's different is playing Celestial Determination if you're playing Yulon. That way you can't be slowed and you need some movement while you're in those big maps. So you can definitely play that. But for the most part, I'm just playing Yulon and Crackle and not really changing too much from that build to the RBG build. Finally, I think I say this every season, but I think Raiding has the most unique talents that I've seen out of every single version of Mistweaver. And this plays into your Fistweaving, but your Jadefire teachings, but then you're also casting. It's actually insane how unique this build is. So essentially what you're doing on the left-hand tree is you're going for damage, you're going for Chi Burst, which you don't really see often, but this does AoE damage, which is great. Ring of Peace is really good for mobs on boss fights, and then you're obviously getting your primary defensives with your Diffuse, Fort Brew, Dance to Win for physical damage, and then you're also playing Lighter Than Air and Flow of Chi for extra bonuses depending on your health, and you're going for movement speed from Windwalking as well for yourself and your teammates. 4% increased movement speed is great. And then the right-hand tree, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but it's so nice. It's so unique. So you're playing the normal talents, but you're going to be playing Crane Style that converts your damage into healing when you rushing Wind Kick, which is fantastic. It gives you extra healing. You're playing Chi-Ji. So you're Fistweaving essentially with Chi-Ji, and you're also playing Pool of Mists, which gives you 3 charges of Renewing Mist, which is really cool because you don't see it used too often. And then down here, you're going for damage, right? You're raiding. You want to heal, but you also want to do damage, of course. So rushing Wind Kick. So this is really great because with Ancient Teachings, you're converting your damage into healing, and this does a ton of damage. But then you're also playing Secret Infusion, increase that damage, and then you're playing Invoker's Delight and Mending Proliferation for extra AoE healing, and then for, of course, extra haste, which is you can easily get to 60-70% haste with Invoker's Delight and Secret Infusion. Easily get to 70% haste without even a question. So you could easily just go for Thunder Focus Tea, Renewing Mist. Let's see how much haste I have, which is 55% haste, and then you can Yulon, and I'm at 89% haste before the season even starts. The season doesn't even start. I don't even have full gear yet. I'm at 679 item level, and I can get to that much haste. So really, really fun talent build. And of course, you're playing Shaylun's Gift. Shaylun's Gift is a really, really good AoE heal. So vital for raiding. Very, very important. So those are all of the builds for PvP and PvE for Mistweaver. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And that is it for me. All the builds are linked in the description. Hope everyone has a fantastic rest day. Hope you have a great season 3. And I'll see you later.